Okay, so let's talk about food preservation. You might hear that and picture, dusty jars in your grandma's pantry. But what if I told you it's actually a modern superpower? Seriously, it's one of the best tools we have to boost our health, save a ton of money, and yeah, even help the planet. So in this explainer, we're going to get into how to do it right. First, let's start with a number that is, well, it's kind of hard to wrap your head around. In just 2022, the world chucked out 1.05 billion tons of food. To put that in perspective, that's like throwing away 1 billion meals every single day. It is just a mind-boggling amount of waste. And you might think, oh, that's all happening at giant farms or grocery stores. But the data? It tells a totally different story. A whopping 60% of all that food waste happens in our own homes, in our kitchens. That means this massive global problem, well, it really starts with us. But that's also good news, because it means we have the power to fix it. And it's not just about waste, it's about safety. Globally, 1 out of every 10 people gets sick from contaminated food each year. Here in the US, that number jumps to 48 million people. So getting food preservation right isn't just about keeping food out of the trash, it's about keeping ourselves safe and healthy. So how do we actually do that? Well, that brings us to the science of saving food. And don't worry, you don't need a lab coat for this. The basic principles are actually super simple, and they're all about one thing: stopping spoilage dead in its tracks. Every single preservation method out there, from freezing to canning to drying, is basically trying to do one of 3 things. You're either stopping the microbes, the bad bacteria and mold, or you're switching off the enzymes that make food break down, or you're just creating a barrier so oxygen and water can't get in. That's it. That's the whole game. Now, if you take away just one thing from this explainer, please let it be this: the danger zone. Think of this temperature range between 40 and 140 degrees Fahrenheit as a massive party for harmful bacteria. They love it. They multiply like crazy. Our job, our #1 priority, is to keep our food out of that zone. So, what are our best strategies for avoiding that danger zone? Well, this is where we open up our preservation toolkit. And you really should think of these different methods as tools. You wouldn't use a screwdriver to hammer a nail, right? It's all about picking the right tool for the job. First up, we have freezing. Honestly, this is your best friend when it comes to locking in nutrients. Just think of it like hitting a giant pause button. It dramatically slows down the breakdown of vitamins and minerals so you can capture that just-picked flavor and nutrition for months. Then there's canning. This is the undisputed champion of shelf stability. It's how you get to enjoy the taste of summer tomatoes in the dead of winter. No electricity needed. You get this incredible room temperature product that's ready to go whenever you are. But, and this is a big but, with canning, safety is everything. And that leads us to the single most important rule in all of home canning. It all comes down to acid. For high-acid foods, things like fruits, jams, most pickles, a simple boiling water bath canner is totally fine. But for low-acid foods, and this includes most vegetables, all meats, and fish, you absolutely must use a pressure canner. It's the only way to get the temperature hot enough to kill the spores that cause botulism. Seriously, this is not a suggestion, it's non-negotiable. And the science is crystal clear on this. The health experts all agree, while botulism is thankfully rare, it is incredibly dangerous. And the vast majority of cases are traced back to low-acid foods that were canned improperly at home. So please always use the right equipment and a modern tested recipe. Okay, what else is in our toolkit? Well, drying is amazing for making foods lightweight and portable. Think jerky or fruit leathers. Then you have fermentation, which is so cool because it actually adds beneficial microbes for your gut and creates these amazing complex new flavors. And of course, there's the classic method of curing with salt. An ancient technique, though we do have to be a little mindful of sodium there. And that mindfulness is especially important when it comes to cured meats. The World Health Organization has found a pretty clear connection here. Their research shows that for every 50-gram portion of processed meat you eat daily, that's about 2 slices of bacon or a single hot dog, the risk of colorectal cancer goes up by about 18%. So, what do we do with that information? Does it mean you can never enjoy bacon again? No. Of course not. The key takeaway here is just about balance. It means we should probably think of these foods as an occasional treat, not something we rely on as a daily staple. All right, we know the science, we've got our toolkit. Now let's talk about putting it all into practice, how to preserve like a pro. These are the real-world, actionable tips that will help you get the absolute most out of your food in terms of nutrition, safety, and of course, flavor. Here we go. 5 steps to level up your preservation game. 1. Freeze your food when it's perfectly ripe. And please, don't skip blanching your veggies. It makes a world of difference. 2. We've said it before, we'll say it again. For canning, only use modern, tested recipes. 3. Try to work more fermented foods into your diet for all those great gut health benefits. 4. Keep those cured and super salty items in moderation. And 5. Master your home's cold chain. That just means getting your cold groceries into the fridge fast and keeping everything at the right temp. Okay, so let's bring this all home. This is all about giving you the knowledge to make the right choice for your food, for your family. There's no single best method that works for everything. It's always about picking the best tool for that specific food at that specific moment. You can see here, every method is a trade-off. Freezing gives you the best nutrient retention, but it costs energy and takes up space. Canning gives you amazing convenience and shelf stability, but you do lose some of the more delicate vitamins, like vitamin C. Drying is great for portability, but you've got to store it carefully. And fermentation gives you those incredible health benefits, but you might need to watch the salt content. But at the end of the day, it all boils down to this. Every single food you save is a win. Every strawberry you pop in the freezer, every jar of sauce you can, every leftover you decide to eat instead of toss, it's a small action with a truly massive ripple effect. You're protecting nutrients, you're protecting your budget, and you are actively protecting the planet. So there you have it. You've got the science, you've got the tools in your toolkit, and you've got the pro tips. The only question left is, what are you going to say first?